Hi guys, I am doing my second interview today with Elise. She is For Food, For Love, For Life on Instagram. So, Elise, do you want to share your story, like who you are and what you're
Yeah.
about?
Well, my name is Elise, and I'm from the DMV, the Washington, D.C., Northeast Strong, Michigan Park, Ricks. No,
Hey.
from Washington, D.C. I was born here, lived here my entire life, have not moved from here, and I enjoy being in the nation's capital. I have, I am in my mid 40s. I'm 45, and my eczema story begins in grade school. It was around the fifth grade or so. And I developed a patch on my hand. You know, we didn't know what it was. We thought it was, we think it's dry skin. Oh, it's just dry skin. And after that, it kind of began to progress where it spread up my arms and my legs and my feet. And after a while, it became something that was, it was different because, you know, some people just, they think of eczema, they think of a dry patch. They don't think of, you know, that it's actually a condition.
Right.
And what happens is the misnomer is that, you know, oh, it's just dry skin. But until you walked in the feet, in the way of someone that has had eczema, extreme atopic dermatitis,
Yes.
you really don't know how that feels. And eczema actually runs in my family along with major allergies and asthma. They kind of all kind of coincide, if you will. And I've gotten every last thing from asthma to allergies to eczema. So it's been with me for a while. Like I said, I'm 45, so since grade school, I've been dealing with it, and my family really has championed me from even a young age. My father would wrap me with cellophane and ointment and rub my eczema all night long until I, you know, because you know it's agitating. You know what I'm talking about, just the burning and the scratching and all that kind of stuff. And what happens is even in public, you know, people don't understand it.
Yes.
You know, and so so up until this point, it became managed for a while. But as I became an adult, outside of the regular weather changes, one of the biggest things that affected it is stress.
Yes.
And I guess we're living in a stressful world. I'm not even talking about 2020. I'm talking about life itself.
Right.
And so through the course of life, you know, you allow stress to hit you, but people who suffer with eczema and even stress that triggers asthma, we live a different life, you know, where we think it's panic attacks, but no, it's really it's your stress that has ignited your eczema, which sends you into these fits, and then it ignites your asthma, and you can't breathe. So people think that, you know, get it together. No, I can't. It's something that I can't help. But at the same time, you know, we've learned how to manage over time.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was gonna say, so I mean, I follow you on Instagram, and you know, you talk about like the food. You're a singer, and you're also part of like what is it, National Eczema Association?
I'm an ambassador for them. I just became this year.
Yeah,
right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yay! So what do they have you doing as ambassador? Like how
well, I just started. And so what I'm doing is you're able to be an ambassador for advocacy. You can act, and what, you know, that means like going and talking about things policy wise. You know, this medicine that they have for eczema is through the roof. I was prescribed something a couple of months ago for my eczema. The tube with insurance was $700. $700, and it was some type of I wish I had the name of it. It was a new cream that came out. So a lot of advocacy work goes into saying we got to work on the price. You know, I mean, I used to work for a major healthcare company, which would be, But but you know that the costs of medicine, the costs of prescriptions, regardless of whether you have insurance or not, it is asinine to a certain degree. And the people that suffer are those who are suffering with these conditions that need this medicine. You know what I'm saying? And so part of advocacy, especially for National Eczema Association, would be us making our voice heard to say, listen, we've got to find some way, some plan, something that can assist those who are afflicted with eczema, atopic dermatitis, with being able to have access access to medicines and things that'll help them. You know, I even think about those who are on Medicaid, Medicare, you know, and those who are not even able to afford medicine, you know, how are they striving? I mean, we have a lot of home remedies. I mean, and they work good too. I promise you, my grandmother and my dad and my mom, they have different things that I've used. But what about folks who don't have things, who have to actually get the medicine, you know? I mean, as an asthmatic alone, an inhaler starts at $75. That's with insurance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be an advocate, because I wanted to make my voice heard. How can we make policies? How can we make provisions? How can we make ways for people to have access to medicines for atopic dermatitis? Because it's not just dry skin.
Right.
You know, and that's one of the things that I would love to drive home. Like, when you think that it's dry skin, put some Vaseline on it. It's okay. No, it's not. Some people contract MRSA because of it. You know, it can be infectious. You don't understand. Well, you understand. I'm talking about people don't understand really the extent. People lose limbs.
Oh yeah.
Because of infection of eczema, you know, and that's something that, you know, no one really pays attention to or knows unless you're in the life. I'm sitting here now, I realize I had cortisone 10 right beside my head here. You know, it's like, that's my saving grace. I have one in the car, I have one, you know, but one of the reason why I became an advocate is so that I can make my voice heard and speak for those who might not be able to have a way to speak and share on their behalf.
Yeah. I think that's so important because, you know, like you said, I feel like there's not a lot of education about it. I feel like unless I'm in this community, I have no idea, you know, like what's going on with people with eczema and like what's going on with people with allergies. And I think you brought up a point how like medicine is like so expensive now. And like you said, like there needs to be a group of people who, you know, obviously say like, hey, that's not right. I mean, I know for years, like with an EpiPen, like the EpiPen was so expensive, and it's just like, why is that? Why is nothing being done?
When it's a life-saving device.
Right, exactly. So I think it's amazing, you know, like that you are part of this group, and I think it's really important that you do spread your story. So thank you so much. So what made you kind of want to share your story and kind of open up more about your eczema?
Because I hid it for so long. I'm a Disney fan. You understand what I'm saying? I love Disney.
Yeah.
I have the Disney Channel.
Yes.
And I have the Disney Plus. Let's talk about it. And in Frozen, the king says to Elsa, "Conceal, don't reveal." Right? So I lived when I saw that, I was like, no. You know, I was like, conceal, don't reveal. And there's a lot of times I had to conceal my skin. I didn't really like the way I looked, so I had to change my clothes. I covered up to my neck all year long. I had to wear things all the way down here all year long, not just because I wanted to cover it up, but because of things that people say, the looks that you get, and all those different type of things. And, you know, I got to a place in my life where I just started dealing with my personal freedom. And I realized that I was bound up personally because I allowed myself to conceal and not reveal, and not understand that even my story and what I'm going through can be something that'll someone might hear it and might connect to it and say, I'm going through the same thing. I thought it was just me. Because a lot of times when we hold ourselves captive to what we're going through, we don't realize that we think that we're the only ones going through it. But if someone's bold enough to say, hey, look, it's not just you, it's me too. Let's have a conversation about it. Then what happens is you become your personal best.
Yeah.
Because you realize, it's not just me that's dealing with this. Yeah. When you have somebody that you can, kind of have conversation with and say, I know how you feel. That's me too. Those feelings you get. And I just thought that for a long time, I really sat and did not allow myself to free myself, because I allowed myself to conceal and not reveal. Right. So when I came, my sister and I have been walking through the past couple of years, just kind of freeing ourselves, because she has psoriasis.
Okay.
And what happens is a lot of times we have conversations just overall about life and just different things and how we've let things paralyze us, but we didn't understand that our greatest us is when we free ourselves to be free to talk about what we have gone through. You know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest bouts and fights that I've had in my entire life is eczema. It has been, just waking up in the morning and having dead skin in your bed is embarrassing. Just kind of, sitting in one place and getting up and you have dead skin falling behind you, take your clothes off and it's just dead skin everywhere. That's a little oppressive if you can look at it, because you're like, am I ever going to get through this? But what I've learned is the power of my uniqueness. And the power of my uniqueness is embodied within eczema itself. And it might sound strange to some, but I had to do that, and I even looked at my scars, these little scars on my arm and then down my legs too. I look at them no longer as my scars, but I look at them as battle scars. Like I've been through a fight and I've won, you know what I'm saying? So if I don't share, then I might not be able to help another person. But if I do share and open up my heart and open up my mind, then I'll be able to maybe help someone out, But more so, I've been able to free my own self.
Right.
It's amazing, above all.
Yeah. No, I think that's so cool, because like you said, I think being able to talk it out and also, hear other people share their story as well. I think it's like that sense of camaraderie, and you're like, okay, yeah, like I'm not alone. And then it's like you realize that, I think in some extent you're more than just your allergies, and you're more than just, you are, a person that shares, kind of like this condition with other people who are facing the same thing. So I think that's, I think it's so important that you share your story. So, and I think it's interesting that, your family kind of has, similar dermatitis as well. So what was it like kind of growing up and like the family, like kind of having a similar kind of background, I guess?
We understood each other. I'll never forget a moment. And this is not just for the dermatitis, but it's for asthma. We are an asthma family. We were at an event, and it was unfortunately my grandmother's funeral. And I'll never forget this moment. We were down in the country, and, all of us were having a moment. We were passing around an inhaler. I was just like, we all have the same thing, And but it was like, it was one of the wildest things to see that it's just not, that hereditary issues and things like that, they're really a thing. And I think one of my cousins, I don't quote me, was like, do you have the blue one or the pink one? Which one do you have? And we were trying to figure out, but it's hereditary. Everybody understands, your struggle. You know what I'm saying? So when we were able to help each other, even in that moment, but with my sister, from what I understand, hers developed. I think it's called psoriatic arthritis. So I'm not going to put in. She knows. You know what the name is. You can be watching this. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Okay. But even seeing her struggle with that, it's been hard for me. But I'm able to we're able to walk through it together because I've been there,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
from such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So just being able to understand each other's struggle has been the best, and it's been a saving grace, I think, a lot of times because eczema is just not physical; it's
Mm-hmm.
psychological.
Oh, definitely.
It's psychological, and one thing that I think about often is how far would I be in life
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't let myself be run or ruled by my
Mm-hmm.
affliction,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
by this eczema.
Right.
How far would I be if I did not conceal but reveal?
Mm-hmm.
How far would I be if I did not allow myself to be freed from, just the stigma? I mean, if you go to I went to a doctor, I'll never forget, I went to a dermatologist one time. He
Mm-hmm.
would not touch me.
Oh, really?
He wouldn't touch me. He would look at, I was like, this is eczema. It is not contagious.
Right. How
You
does
know,
a doctor not even?
and I was like, you're my dermatologist. Don't you know this?
Right.
And after that time, I just, because everybody said he was a great dermatologist, but I never experienced it because of the way that he treated me.
Right. Right.
And I was just like, it was really hard. It was really hard for me. And I don't think I've ever telling my parents now that I had a problem with a dermatologist. But and even those things, you think he's a medical professional, those things even do things to you psychologically. Like if he's a medical professional doing these things, what's really wrong with me?
Right. Right.
So getting more education, even myself, has helped me over the years to become okay with what this is and understanding that, once I get myself together
Mm-hmm.
and know my triggers
Mm-hmm.
and know what sets me off and what, I know that I'm not supposed to have peanuts, but even that Snickers ice cream bar is amazing, and it's only going to tingle a little bit. So, but it's not going to bother, so I've gotten to the place I am horrible with that part, but when it comes to like seafood and things like that,
Oh, yeah.
I know that they really react on me. I used to be a seafood girl growing up.
Oh, really?
I can pinpoint the last time that I ate shrimp.
Oh no, I feel like that might be worse than like being born with an allergy, actually tasting it and like knowing the taste and not having to have it
I'm a seafood girl from the DMV. Okay, it's in my cabinet. I mean, I'm just saying. I can tell you place and event where I had that last shrimp. I was on
Oh,
Connecticut Avenue at lunch from University of the District of Columbia.
oh my
We
God.
went to Safeway to the counter, and I got me a pound of steamed shrimp for lunch.
Mm.
That was the last time that I tasted shrimp, and that was probably 1995.
Oh my God, you have it down to the point. Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
I'm a shrimp person. I would go to Chesapeake Bay Seafood House, and I would get the bottomless shrimp, and
Uh-huh.
we eat crabs up on the pier with my aunt
Oh
and
my
my
God.
uncle, and I have not had one. That's what we one since 1994, 95.
Wow.
We can't fry fish in the house because just me walking in the house will break me out, and it'll flare up my asthma, and I'll get hives, and my eczema
Mhm.
will be affected.
Did like any doctor or anything tell you why all of a sudden you just developed this?
Eventually, it was high mercury levels.
Oh,
And so I was just like, okay, so can we get this mercury out?
like can you reduce it or something?
I mean, the worst thing about it is having a craving for surf and turf.
Oh.
I mean, a good tomahawk steak and the surf and turf with some good shrimp and a good lobster, honey. I can't even eat that anymore. So I sit there and I'm just like, and I crave it. Like that's the worst part is being
Yeah.
allergic, but crave. And then on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to some friends. I said, how can I be a food blogger and can't eat seafood? It's
Oh
ridiculous.
my gosh.
Now what I can eat And my mother, God bless her, I'm gonna hug her right now. She made it good for me because she salmon cakes. I can do salmon cakes.
Salmon. Okay.
Now,
Good.
and she'll put a little bit of potato in that salmon cake.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
And she'll make and when you taste it, it's a little light, it's a little savory, but I don't break out. At one time I did break out, but I have to make sure I get wild caught and not farm raised. There is a difference.
Oh yeah.
And so the wild caught is good. I don't break out, and she dropped those potatoes in there, and I'm like, this I can't eat a salmon cake, and I'm excited about it. And I can eat tuna, but I really don't like tuna fish that much. It's appeal to me. But this year my doctor said I should be able to try fresh salmon. Ooh. I'm excited about that.
That's exciting. Oh my God.
I'm excited about that. So these are the things that a lot of people don't take for granted.
Yes. We have to taste test our food, and we have to see like what's good, because I have a lot of allergies too. So it's like, for me, just going to a restaurant, I'm like, do I want to be risky today and try this? I really want to, but I don't want to end up like, on the toilet for hours.
That's what I'm saying. And I tell people all the time, I said one thing that keeps me from eating things that bother me. Mm-hmm. I remember how I felt the last time I ate.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the time that it took to recover, I don't ever want to go through that again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't, So, but yeah.
So what are all the allergies what are all your allergies?
How long do you have? Okay. I don't have pets because all the dander of every animal, I can't do. Mold, I can't do. Citrus, I'm not supposed to do. I'm not supposed to do citrus, including tomatoes and things like that. I'm not supposed to do dairy, things like that. But all nuts, any kind of nut, you name it, is a done deal for me. Mm-hmm. I actually have a list. It's about 2.5 pages, 3 pages back and front. So it's one sheet back and front of everything that I'm allergic to. You name it, I'm allergic to it.
Oh my gosh! So how are you able to go to restaurants? I mean, I see your food on your Instagram. You cook amazing food, but how are you able to go out to eat?
Well, I'm a picky eater. And my friends always say, girl, to be such a big girl, you real picky. I say, because when I find what I like, I eat everything that I want. But to look, I have to make a disclaimer right about now, where I am right now. I have lost 60 pounds collectively.
Oh my gosh,
yeah. Come on, okay? No. So what I have learned is, and even in my cooking and when I go out, I just make sure that I stick to what I know. Okay. I won't go to an Indian restaurant. I will not explore with a lot of different foods. The only food outside of, food from America, or our American cuisine, I would try is Jamaican food, because I'm clear on what the flavors are, and I've actually gone through the different herbs and spices to make sure that I'm good, right? And then I can't do Indian food.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Because it has a lot of different things in, and I'm finding out lately that I'm allergic to turmeric.
Oh, really?
Starbucks has this amazing drink. Mm-hmm. It's called Golden Sunshine or something like that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like,
and in the Golden Ginger, it's cold, and they have lemonade, they have ginger, and they have turmeric. It is so good. Oh. Hold on, let me pause for a minute. It is so good. But I notice that every time that I drink it, I get congested. I was like, okay, that's strange. So I keep doing it over and over again, and then my eyes are running another time. So what I did was I got some turmeric chews one day, because I'm really working on inflammation and those different type of things, because inflammation does make eczema. It elongates your healing process when it's inflamed. Right. So I was like, let me get some turmeric, because that's what I'm gonna do. Turmeric I had some turmeric and it didn't really do me good.
Okay.
So I'm trying to see by elimination if turmeric is something that really bothers me in that, and I'm gonna be really upset about it
Yeah.
because I like turmeric a little bit. Now I
Mm.
want to do some good curry one day, some curry
Ooh.
have turmeric in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, but I'm very picky about what I eat, and when I go out to eat, my friends say I'm a creature of habit. And it's on purpose, And if I
Mhm.
want a good pizza, I make sure that I want light sauce. Don't give me a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just give me
Yeah.
light
Mhm.
sauce. You know what I'm saying? And for a moment, I went vegan.
Okay. Okay. How was that?
It was not bad
Mm-hmm.
because I learned how to cook vegan, but the biggest process for that for me, because a lot of vegan foods are made from soy.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of things, Miss Tabitha Brown is my girl. Okay, I love, and when she made that taco with those pecans, I was like, love it, but I don't like
Mm.
it. I
Yeah.
can't do that. And so I've learned, I've actually learned kind of different things that I can use. Like I use Beyond Meat because it makes from
Oh,
pea
yeah.
protein.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that I had to really pay attention to. And at Whole Foods, they have a whole line of soy-free like ramen,
Oh,
like
really?
ramen soup bowls. They have it's soy free, and
Mhm.
even soy sauce soy free. They have a whole line of things like that. So Whole Foods is clutch. I go to
Oh
Whole
my
Foods all
gosh.
the time. That's my place. I even walk. I'm like tell my friend, they're like, "How do you do that?" I said, "I'm gonna take you on a Whole Foods run one day, and I'm gonna show you how to make Whole Foods work for you."
Yes,
So,
please. I need
you
to go. I
I'm
haven't
telling you, it
gone.
it works for you. You just have to know when to go in there. You have to know when the discounts are good. You have to just kind of
They have discounts? See, I didn't even know they had
they
discounts.
have they have discounts, and especially if you're Amazon Prime. Are we getting paid for this Amazon Prime? No, but if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get coins off of your
What?
purchases. Yeah. And once you get your rhythm down of finding out what you like and what you need from the store,
Mhm.
shopping from Whole Foods is a breeze. But
Mhm.
one of the greatest things I like about Whole Foods, they have different exotic fruit. Now, one thing about me is I know since I can't eat a lot of lemon and stuff, but I do like to alkaline my water with limes and lemons. That's another
Ooh,
thing I
that sounds
like
nice.
to do.
Yeah.
What I've learned to do is don't do too much of it because I
Mhm.
know it's going to affect me.
Mhm.
But they have like dragon fruit and horn melon and different
Oh,
things like that I can experiment
yeah.
with. So I try my best to make my choices.
Mhm.
Now sometimes you just can't help it because when you're craving something that you want, you say either I'm gonna take this hit or I'm just gonna go without it.
Mhm.
So sometimes I take the hit and I pay for it, but I'm just like, it was good in the meantime.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so I might sit there and like this starts right there. There it is, right there on the hand right there. There that's that Snickers ice cream right there,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it's all in discretion. But like I said,
Mhm.
I'm a creature of habit. It's
Mhm.
just a few restaurants that I go to. It's just a few places. It's a few things that I eat and I and
Mhm.
I an abundance of things that I won't eat just because I need to know what's in it. So, which has
Exactly.
caused me to cook more.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
said I don't mind cooking because at one time I wanted to own my own little restaurant, little bistro place. I wanted to do that,
Ooh.
but
That's
kind of
fun.
got life changed and things happen. But
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
why I like to cook. I love to cook. Cooking is my therapy. Cooking is my second nature.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
if well, actually, no, it's my third nature. Music and singing is my second one, and that
Mhm.
actually, music and singing actually helped me through a lot of my tough times.
Yes. Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
growing up, I you know
Mhm.
so I've sung in the church my entire life, okay?
Oh, wow.
And so one of the greatest things that I remember is being up underneath the covers and just singing. I'm in grade school, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, middle school and high school, and just kind of singing my trauma. Well, I call it trauma, not really trauma, but
Mhm.
singing my anxiety and stress away
Yeah.
because I
Mhm.
didn't know really how to address it. And
Mhm.
so I just began to sing and just
Mhm.
sing. And so I didn't know I could sing until I was 14. When my
Okay.
teacher made me sing, okay? And I was just
Oh.
like, I don't do that. And she was like, you're going to. And so since then I've been singing my life away, but it's a place that I get lost in, and it
Yeah.
actually helps me with my with actually soothing
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
everything that eczema and other things kind of bring in life, stress.
Right.
So
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, with this whole open mic night thing, I definitely wanted to incorporate the music and, eczema awareness because I think, people with eczema, we don't know how to put into words sometimes like our stresses and everything. And I definitely feel like music kind of helps with that. I know for me too, like when I was young, my family didn't really know too much about eczema. And they obviously, you're your own person and no one really understands what you're going through. So I definitely felt like music to me was my form of communication, just to like a catharsis of emotions.
Yes.
So I definitely agree with you. Like music is so just powerful in that sense. So.
I
Mhm.
mean, because I was a little nervous coming on here today, and so what I did was I had to play some music in my house. I said, let's get it,
Oh yes, yeah.
and so I brought it all the way down here to this little area here,
Oh my
and
god.
it got me to the place where I'm okay, So just
Yeah.
even in this moment, 'cause I was like, you will not scratch that today. You gonna calm down, and you're
Mhm.
gonna be okay, and you're gonna do
Definitely.
this little video, and you just gonna be grateful to be here because I am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Well, you don't even have to be nervous. You are so great, so don't even need to be nervous. And I was gonna ask, I mean, I know you've been dealing with eczema for forever,
Mhm.
so I'm sure you dealt with a lot of hard things.
Mhm.
But what do you think was the hardest thing that you had to deal with?
The hardest thing that I personally had to deal with was people not understanding.
Mhm, mhm,
Um,
mhm.
growing up trying to date, you
Yeah.
know, was one of the hardest things because, you
Mhm.
know, boys are crazy.
Boys are dumb.
they're and so I never forget, there was this one guy that I liked or whatever.
Oh, whatever.
And and then he looked at my hand and he said, "What in the world?" That's not what he said. But he said, "What in the world is wrong with you?"
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Now, at that moment, I didn't react and punch him in the face. I didn't do that. Mom, I promise I did not do that. Um, but at that moment, where you think that your um, your eczema, because you lived with it, it's something that's a part of you. You
Right.
never looked at it like that. It just
Mhm.
kind of brought awareness to, well, then if he thinks that, what does everybody else think about me?
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
And it caused a consciousness um, of what I was going through that really, again, it took me onto into a place mentally where I was constantly looking at people and their reactions towards me and just
Mhm.
how they would move away from me and look at me
Right.
funny and all this other kind of things. And it
Mhm.
affected me, and I would say psychologically,
Definitely.
because I was constantly in my head about, okay, so I guess what this person thinks about me. And so I was constantly pulling my sleeves down a lot over my
Mhm.
hands so
Mhm.
that people wouldn't look at my hands or whatever. And it also, again, back to the dating thing, I didn't want anybody to, to think about me in that way anymore,
Mhm.
so it kind of allowed me the, unfortunate opportunity to shut myself down
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
not even want to even bother with it because,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know, and it could have just been one person and the next person could have been, no, you're fine.
Right.
But that person destroyed it because I don't want to be
Exactly.
hurt like that because I
Mhm.
can't help this.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There are things that I can't help, but this is one thing that I could not help in the moment.
Mhm.
So you just didn't want to be judged. You just didn't want to be looked at weird,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so that's one of the hardest things is to get people to understand what it is.
Mhm. Mhm.
And interestingly enough, I had a conversation, actually it was a few years ago,
Mhm.
and people when they're misinformed or they don't understand about something, they'll make their own come to their own conclusions.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I never forget the conversation. I can't really tell you in detail because I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I told them, I said, the biggest thing that you have to understand is when you start making your own assumptions about something you know nothing about,
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you cast a gray cloud on something,
Yeah.
and you'll never know the reality of what you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
until you move the cloud away because of um, your misinformation, and realize that there's a jewel behind that cloud
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that you shut away because of your assumptions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Come step in the cloud and get an understanding, and we can help you understand that we are people too.
Right.
Our skin is a little different, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, but we're fine. And I think at one point when I told somebody I joined the National Association of Eczema Association, it was a couple of years ago. They was like, oh, they have a month for dry skin.
Mm-hmm. I know. Again, yeah.
And I got offended in that moment because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, where maybe dry skin for you is
Mm-hmm.
to a certain degree, to some people it's a life sentence.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I never forget. I went on a job interview one time, and this was in the heat of where, because my feet were infected and my legs were infected too.
Oh.
And I never forget, I was at this job interview, and I got the job, but afterwards I was pulled into the office saying, there's an odor you have.
Hmm.
And I sat there embarrassed,
Mm-hmm.
because that was a height of when my eczema was really, really bad on my feet. And I said, it is the infection from my eczema.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help it.
Right. Right.
It's getting healed, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
Right.
And to have to explain that to people over something,
Mm-hmm.
it is difficult.
Right.
It's hard. It is embarrassing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I just wish people would understand that, before you make comments, before you make assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
before you come to a place where you have closed the door on people, all you have to do is ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Communication is key.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And you can ask me anything. I don't even care. Like, it's whatever. I'm going to answer the question. And whether you like my answer or not, I understand. But I'm going to tell you the truth about where I am.
Right.
And if you want to ask me, so I never forget, kids used to walk up to me and rub my hands and say, "What happened? You burned yourself?" And I thought that was the sweetest thing, because kids are non-biased,
Yeah.
and I know adults that would have that like I said, to this day have looked at me funny, but I'm like, and I would say to the kids, because I don't want to say, if atopic dermatitis is eczema, I said, yes, I burned myself. Are you okay? I am fine. Thank you so much for caring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that at that moment is something that I needed, that
Mm-hmm.
they had,
Right.
that they're innocent, they're really innocent. So yeah, I just wish people would not assume
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not come to their own conclusions on what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Right.
yeah.
No, I totally agree. It's like to have to explain yourself, it just like, and it makes you just kind of feel like a burden, it just
Yeah.
hurts, you know?
Or that I'm looking for a pity party. I don't need your pity.
Right.
Now, one thing I can say is, I know plenty of people that have had eczema and that have it. One thing that I can say is I've never had it on my face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never had it on my face. And so, people, where I can cover mine, there are people who can't cover theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I can imagine just how they feel. I
Mm-hmm.
might get a little dry patch every so often on my face, but it's nothing like even having it on your face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for that, but at the same time, I understand the pain of it all, head to toe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
um, so I was going to ask, so everyone has a different regimen for their own skin. So how do you yourself kind of keep sane and kind of deal with your eczema every day?
Music, number one.
Mm-hmm.
But my regimen is This is I'm trying to tell you, it's my go-to, this cortisone 10.
You have it right by you.
Huh?
You have it right by you. It's your regimen.
Listen, all the time. And I tell people all the time, you know, I'm like, don't give me the cortisone that's not the yellow 10. Mm-hmm. Give me the yellow 10 and we can make it happen. And when it gets like it's about to be wintertime, you know, you get that Amazon subscription.
Oh yeah.
They'll mail it to you, you know. And then if it gets worse, I get Neosporin. But a lot of times lately what I've been using is jojoba oil.
What's that?
Jojoba, I can't tell you what a jojoba is, but it's an essential oil. They sell it in the store. I did research on oils for eczema that are good for eczema, and so I made my own shea butter for eczema.
Oh wow!
Because it had in it was tea tree oil, neat. I think it's neat NEET oil. Mm-hmm. It was chamomile for calming. It was the jojoba oil, which actually feels amazing by itself. Mm-hmm. And I made that, and it actually worked, you know, and it went on real smooth, and it's good for moisturizing, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But what I decided to do was lay off the shea butter, because sometimes the shea butter burns. Okay. What I noticed is that it started to not burn as in bad, but I saw my skin start to get discolored. So mm-hmm. I just mixed the oils together and just used the oils by itself. Okay. Those things have helped just kind of get my skin kind of moisturized and everything like that. And if it gets really, really bad where I need a little extra help, I use Aquaphor. Okay. That's the go-to for life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have that in my purse. So I have Aquaphor. I have cortisone 10. I try my hardest not to have to use steroids, because, you know, steroid cream tears your skin up after a while. Your skin really thin.
And it's not good for it, like in the long run.
Yeah, so I've been trying not to do that as much as I can. Try not to have to use prednisones for anything unless I have to, because you know those things put pounds on you. But and also I try to get my mental sanity in check. Yeah. Because if I feel myself about to go over the bridge, I go grab me some good tea. I'm a tea girl. I grab me some good peach tranquility tea. I grab me some good chamomile citrus tea. Citrus I'm allergic to, but it's good though. It's good. Or some oolong tea.
Ooh, oolong tea is good. Yeah, I do that.
Oolong tea is good, and it's a calming agent for eczema. You know what I'm saying? And so I try my best to, and give me some good honey. Oh, I found this stuff in not Trader Joe's, in Mom's Organic. We have a little store here called Mom's Organic. I found this stuff. It's called ginger syrup. Ooh. I drop it down in my tea. It's good to my soul. Yes. And so I try to do things, and I try to entertain people, places, and things that are not going to aggravate me.
Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those things work. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's my regimen, you know, and those things have worked for me. Mm-hmm. And a good Amazon movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But Amazon, you know, Amazon Prime movies are good, but I kind of create an atmosphere with candles and things like that that'll help me with calming.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so that's part of my regimen. It's a lot of different things, but it helps me. And I go, oh, I got one last thing. How could I forget it? Being in the DMV, you know, we have the tidal basin. We have we have water everywhere, you know, around, you know, we're close to beaches and everything. But downtown, I go downtown to Haynes Point. Mm-hmm. Haynes Point is it's a peninsula.
Okay.
Right over, not far from the Capitol, not far from Jefferson Memorial. People have picnics there and everything like that. And you can actually see our airport in Virginia is Reagan National Airport. Mm-hmm. So you're able to sit, look at the water and everything. At Reagan, you can see Reagan National on one side. Other side, you see the wharf in Southwest DC. I spend a lot of time sitting at the water.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time there because I had to learn that, you know, I had to bring myself to a place of peace, and the water is my place to be. So that's my regimen.
Yeah. No, I think that's really, yeah, I think that's really cool because I believe too, like the stress like really has done me dirty during COVID and everything. So I try to,
Oh, yes.
yeah, I try my best to, well, I mean, I'm working all the time, but when I don't work, I try to, I don't know, kind of meditate, kind of just like sit and like just be present and like not have to like freak out because then like that'll get up.
It'll
So,
do it every time.
um, all right, and so I have two questions left. So
Okay, let's go.
you got this. So, what's one thing you know now that you wish someone would have told you earlier about your eczema?
That is okay.
Yes, that's good. Mm-hmm.
That is okay. That, back to my conceal, don't reveal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That I should have been revealing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that I should have been entertaining conversation,
Yeah.
that I should have found a community of people that say, girl, you're okay. It's all right. We all are dealing with this. Let's cry together. Let's figure it out together. That it is something that it's manageable.
Mm-hmm.
But you manage it. Don't let it manage you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wish that I've known then, but I am better because of it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good advice. Um, and then just for people who don't have eczema but know people who do, I mean, what would you say they should be? What do you think that they should do in order to help?
I think that they should be understanding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that they should get educated.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should get an understanding of the life that we live.
Mm-hmm.
Having eczema, that again, and I've said it many times on this in an interview, it is not just dry skin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it is to some a burden.
Mm-hmm.
It is to some thorn in the flesh.
Yeah. Okay.
It's to some depressing,
Yes.
life changing, mentally challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something that can alter your life if you allow it to.
Mm-hmm.
So for folks who do not have it, get educated or allow your loved one or someone that you know to give you information that'll help you help them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing that I can really say.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this interview. I mean, I think you brought on so many good points, and definitely I think you emphasizing that people need to educate themselves and be empathetic to those who have eczema, because like everyone has their own degree of which they're suffering from it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like people are suffering from it, and you just have to like not make them feel bad about it. Like
Right.
I think um, I started speaking more about my eczema, a couple of years ago. And, when I first started, like a couple of years ago, I didn't think anyone would really care, I was just like, okay, whatever. This is just one of those things I can share with my friends.
Right.
And it's so interesting because, like, out of the woodwork, more people, like, started messaging me, and they were like, hey, my cousin has this, my nephew has this, and the community, just, not the community, but you feel less alone, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're able to share what I like to call war stories.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think it's really amazing how the internet again.
I mean, and I wouldn't have never met you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm super super happy that there is this community and everything. And,
I'm excited about it.
yeah, and I'm excited to hear you and your band and you guys singing.
I'm taking a picture of you.
I wasn't even ready. Candid. It's all good.
It's candid. Let me see. Can I do this again? I don't even know how I'm working this thing. Let's see.
I love Is this a video?
That was a video. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, that's the camera. Okay, that's the camera. Okay. You ready?
I was ready that time.
Come close. Let's see.
Oh.
I'll send it to you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I'll send this video to you too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think oh my gosh. and we like hit every question within the hour. So.
Oh, good.
So it's like what? Now it's 12:30, 11:30 where you are?
12:30.
12:30? Oh my gosh. Do you have plans later for tonight or you're going to bed?
Dinner and sleep.
Ooh, good. What's for dinner?